Hi, I'm Jibon, and welcome to my channel, Programming with Jibon. Today, I'll be going through a few steps to explain what is web development, what skills you need, what will be expected salary, as well as how to get a right job for you. So let's get started. So here I have prepared a few slides for you to explain about the web development, what are the skills you need to find the right job for you, and what are the expected salary you can get depending on your experience. So let's go with the first slide. Um, so what will be the benefits when you be a web developer and you get a job in any companies? So I have few lists here to explain what will be the benefits you will be getting being a web developer. So first, you really don't need any official degree. That's just like a nice to have kind of thing. If you would, if you don't have any official university degree, but you still have skills in web development, you can still apply for a job, and you can get paid a good money. Second, um, there are a few fields it really gets you good money working on that field. So one of the field is the IT industry, and mainly in the web development, you will really get good money working for a company. So you can expect a very high salary for any company being as a web developer. Third is there is a huge demand for any web developers or software engineer. So that demand, I don't think it's going to be like going down anytime soon. It's a safe job. It's always increasing in demand. So so companies are always looking for a new developers to fulfill their lot of work in IT sectors. A fourth will be like once you become a web developer, it's not like the other work. Like you have to be really a problem solver. The company really face a lot of issue, a lot of problem on day-to-day basis. So you have to be a critical thinker and solve that problem. So eventually, you'll be getting a lot of experience being a problem solver. Fifth, there's a lot of possibility you can remotely work because during this 2020 year and because of this pandemic, a lot of company, I mean most of the company, they are allowing developers to work remotely. So most of the developer they are just working from home throughout this year. So even if we get like a normal situation, even the pandemic is gone, there is really a possibility you can get a remote work. So you can just stay at home or work remotely, or you can just travel other places and you can even work from there as far as you have a good internet connection and a good computer to work with. The last thing I have listed here is there's like a lot of growth and possibility to becoming a specialist. For example, if you work as a software engineer, maybe you'll get a lot of experience in, let's say, Amazon certified specialist. So you can just work on that, expanding your expertise. You can be like a consultant, you can be an architect for the whole project you'll be handling. So those are like the benefits you can get when you become a web developer. So let's go to the next slide. Um, so next slide explains about what are the technology you need to have to be a web development. So there are like a tons of other skill, but whatever I have been working for last more than 10 years, that's just include as per my experience. But there'll be like a huge list of the technology skills. But these are like the one I've been working for like past 1 decade. So at least you have to have basic understanding of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So I'd like to call it like three idiots. So this is the basic things you need to understand. So HTML, like you already know, like what the web page content will be showing to your users. So all the content belongs to HTML category. CSS is like how you want to format your presentation, how much style you want to put in your content. So that comes with the CSS. And JavaScript, like whenever the user is interacting with your web browser, you want to handle and control and give the lot of interaction to the user with the help of JavaScript. So these are the basic things you really need to know. um, Next thing is, once you go advanced, then probably you can learn more about Angular, React, Vue.js, jQuery, Ember.js, Backbone. There are like a tons of other frameworks, but first three, Angular, React, and Vue.js, are on top right now. So if you learn Angular or React or Vue, there's like a lot of openings, a lot of opportunity you can get being a web developer. Third is you have to have like a basic understanding how the client and server works. Um, that's about like HTTP protocol, WebSocket, or file transfer protocol. Those are the like basic things you need to understand. Next is basic understanding of how server works and respond to the client's request. So basically, there is a client and server always interacting to each other. So client sends request, server just gives the response depending on a different scenario. So you have to know like basic understanding how the client and server works. Third thing is there's a few things you need to understand about XML and JSON. These are the like a language. Generally, client and server talks to each other. Um, Client also know about XML. Client also know about the JSON. Same way, server also knows about the XML. Server also knows about the JSON in today's modern technology. So this is something like the language that usually the client and server can talk to each other, and they can just exchange the information between client and server. So you have to understand basically about XML and JSON. The next thing is like you have to know a bit about the programming concept. Most of the time, it's like object-oriented programming. So you have to learn about object-oriented programming whenever you are writing any codes, even in the front-end development side or even in the back-end side. There's like a tons of OOP concept you have to use on day-to-day basis. So those are things you need to understand and you need to learn. The last thing is some backend technology. You have to learn like Java, Node.js, PHP, Python, or .NET. So if you are more interested, you can learn on Java or Node.js. Those are like a backend technology used to write the code in the server side. Uh, so these are the technology you can learn. So basically, if all this step, if you learn, you should be good to apply for any job as a web developer. Um, Next slide is about the how the basic server and client works. This is like a general, like a very simple scenario, or the architecture how it works. So basically, the client sends the request to the server, and depending on the request, the server sends the response, and the client will display in its browser those responses. Again, this is like the three idiots I like to say: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. It's all on the front end side. Um, Angular is the popular framework being used as a front end technology in the front end side. You can use Node.js for the backend server coding, and also TypeScript for writing both front end and back end. So these are the things I am more familiar and I've been working for a long time. So I'd like to explain in terms of all this technology about how the client and server should work. So basically here, if you're using the Google Chrome, it's like a client, and it sends the request to the server, and once the server receives that and it fits the required resources, and it just sends back to the browser. Um, these are like a very simple architecture how the client and server works. Um, After that, let's go to the next slide. So being a web developer, I'd like to more focus on the Angular side. You can see here Angular is always in high demand, and Angular itself is from the Google. So Google maintains all the code, all the repository, all their new feature enhancement. They control everything. So uh, they are the developer for Angular. So it's always in the high demand. A lot of companies, they are always looking for the Angular developers, and it's always future safe. There will always be a high demand for Angular developers. Even if you see the salary range, its best salary is almost 100K. Depending on your experience, it can go up to more than that, 150 to 100K sometimes. And also depends on the different location. If you go to California and New York, they pay big money. But if you go some other places, comparatively, it's a little lower. But always you can get a good money being as a Angular front-end developer. Um, Learning JavaScript has a limited uses. JavaScript is all these days is used in web app development. So JavaScript is everywhere. So you can use JavaScript to build a front-end web application. You can use JavaScript as in the robotics like Arduino and all those stuff. They have a flexibility to use the JavaScript. You can also use Electron. That's another middleware. They use JavaScript to build the desktop application. You can also use a mobile development. There's like a good framework called the Ionic. So Ionic has a Angular. You can use Angular to build the mobile apps for any platform, like for iOS, Android. You can use JavaScript to build a mobile application. Especially they use the Angular. So if you know Angular very well, then you can use Ionic to build any mobile application for any platform like iOS or Android. Next, next topic is how to how to prepare yourself for a job hunting process. So first of all, you have to I've categorized the two sections here. One is a preparation and second one is an action. So for the preparation part, you have to have your portfolio. Somehow you have to show your portfolio to the potential employers. Um, then you have to market yourself. Either you can use LinkedIn or other social media channel where the employer are looking for the candidates. Then you can market yourself with this portfolio. And next is you need to know what are your skill. If you are good in front end, obviously you want to go with the front end technology and front end jobs. If you are good in the back end, you can just go searching for the back end position. Next is you have to prepare your resume, and before that, you have to put really good stuff in your resume. If you have any work done before, you can put that work in your resume. Put some links. Put your link of your extra work. Like if you have done something and put in your GitHub, you can mention your GitHub link over in your resume. So I'll be making next video how to make resume that really attracts your potential employer. I'll be doing more videos on that part, but for now you have to have a good resume preparation process, and you have to have a good resume that catches your employer's eyes. Um, Next is job social networking, like again like LinkedIn. You can interact with the different employer, different recruiters. So just make an account in LinkedIn. Is completely free, unless you want to have some premium feature. But generally, it's completely free. You can create your LinkedIn account, and you can keep searching for the potential employers. You can talk to the any recruiters. There are like a lot of job openings they put on everyday basis. So you can just create your account there and try to find something good over there. Next is the action. You have to know like what is the market trend. So if I'm a web developer in front end side, I like to search more into the front end technologies. Um, so and then what are the tools to use for searching the job? So there are some certain tools, certain tricks you can use to find a good job for you. Um, choosing the right job before submitting a resume. So once you go to any job portal site and you search your job, for example, I search for front-end developer in Angular, you'll get a lot of results, maybe 200, 300 results, and you just go through one by one and just try to look on the details of the each job. And if you find something really good for you and you're really interested, and then you can just apply for that position. Just upload your resume, and you should be able to submit your application. But you have to go through the details of every job you search over there. Sometimes you search for like Angular front-end developer, and that job description, if you look in the job description, sometimes they ask for like a lot of stuff. For example, they might be asking like some knowledge on AWS, some knowledge on the backend side, Kubernetes, Kafka, and all those things. That's really not related to your skill set, and that's there will be like a lot of learning curve for you if you want to go that. So you can just avoid that job and just focus on whatever the primary skills you have in that job description. Mention about your primary skill, then you can just choose that job and just apply. Next is like I'm giving some example how I'm getting a lot of job requests in my LinkedIn account. So everyday basis I'm getting like a tons of messages asking me, hey, you are available or not, and there's some position. For example, here is they were saying like a UI developer, companies TCS, they need 8 years of experience full time, and they require either green card or US citizen to work for that position, and location Atlanta, blah blah, something like that. Next position is same like Atlanta, Georgia. They were looking for some front-end developers. Next is I am she was just mentioning about her position in that company, and she's looking for the senior web UI developer. The location is Plano, Texas. She was just pinging me like if I'm available or not. Once you have your account in LinkedIn or any social job portal, then you'll be getting tons of messages like this one. And if you're interested, then you can just interact with these recruiters, talk to them, and try to negotiate the price or the salary for you, and you can proceed with the job application. Next, I'd like to go to some portals that you can really use to find a job for you. So most of the time I use Dice. It's pretty easy and a really good interface they have. You can search job in Dice. You can search job in Indeed, Jeep Recruiters, Monster.com, Simply Hire, Career Builder. Most of the time I use Dice. So that's one of my preferred job portal. But you can either use any of this site. So that's it for this tutorial or this video. I'll be making more videos about job search, or maybe more about the front-end and web application development tutorials. But if you have any questions, just write any comment. I'll try to reply as far as possible. Um, that's all. So if you like the video, just like it or subscribe it. So I'll have more motivation to make more videos like that. Right. Thanks, and good luck.